Yeah, I was involved with the fire department when that burned. And that was right after the war, that 46.
Right.
Or 47.
Right around
46.
there, because that's when he put the Quonset hut up.
Yeah, and then you put the Quonset hut up, yeah. But then coming down, then it was the gift shop. There was a small building in between.
Right.
And I don't think...
Was that a dress shop, or what was that?
I think it was. I never had been in it until the Schumann, or not Schumann,
Collards?
Smids put a liquor store.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't know how long that was
Yeah.
afterwards. And then, of course, the Blakemans owned the
Jack and Jill, yeah.
And the next door to that, when my dad was first in the hardware store with Lansing Tiffany, there was a newcomer to Inlet, opened up an ice cream store there and made his own ice cream.
Harry Vanglis, I think.
Vanglis, yeah.
Yeah.
And his son and I, in fact, his son and I were did the Boy Scouts troop bit there. You know, we were the troop masters, and we had a Boy Scout troop from Eagle Bay and Inlet. It was kind of spearheaded by the Protestant Church, I guess, and they talked us into being scoutmasters, and so we did that for a while, and let's see. Then further up, of course, you come to what was Scott's gift shop later on.
Dorothy's, yeah, Inlet Gift Center. I think Dorothy Scott had the Inlet Gift
Dorothy
Center.
Scott had a gift shop in there. But you know, when I was before high school, or about the time I was in high school, there was a vacant lot there. In between the hardware store, there was a little
Restaurant?
restaurant.
Was it Roland's or the Little Cafe?
Roland was in it later on, but I don't
There
know
was
who was
a lady named Harrison and Luda Sawyer opened.
Oh yes.
Opened the Little Cafe or something like that.
Yes, they did. Sawyer's.
Yeah.
And then next door to that, there was like a little
Indian Curio.
curio, yeah. And I think the Wilkinses used to run that.
Right. They had a place up the hill, but
Yeah, yeah. But then they had a shooting range there for bow and arrow, you know, for a little while. And
I read they had an Indian, Native American weaver in the back, weaving sometimes.
Yeah. They did all kinds of things, but
Do you remember Margaret Graves having a gift shop?
yeah.
I think that was in part of the Inlet Supply building, maybe.
I think it
Right
was,
side.
yeah. I think she had the little addition that was on the side.
Yeah.
Sold
That's
postcards.
good. That's because I did a program. I'm always updating Inlet Then and Now. It had better pictures of that curio shop.
Oh,
the
did
little
you?
sweetgrass being sold there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember going in there. You could smell like grass or whatever it was. That smell of moss or whatever.
Now Scott's, do you remember Scott's being Trottiers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember they had, well, of course, when Scotty bought it, he put a bar downstairs, a rascalery he called it. But when the Trotters were there, it was a good place to go eat. And
Yeah.
the restaurant. They did well with the restaurant, and they rented rooms upstairs. And I remember Fred Trotter a little bit because he was always seemed to be around. But I don't remember any of the other Trotters. I don't know.
Yeah, he had died in the early 30s, and his wife tried to keep it going.
Oh.
And then they sold it to a couple from Racket Lake, the Gardeners, I think,
Gardeners
for a couple years. And then that didn't work out, so she got in it back, and at that point, Harold, the Scots got it.
Yeah.
Shortly after that.
Yeah. I wondered who was involved there, but when you mentioned Gardner's name, I remember that. And then further up was, of course, Khalil's, but he had that first store that he later owned. I don't know who owned that, but it was called the Grand Union at one point.
Right.
And
That's the one you're thinking was vacant for many years.
yes. And Of course, Mr. Khalil used to come over when we had the garage. He was really quite a character. I really enjoyed seeing him on Sunday. He'd come over there in his apron, his white apron, because he'd been cutting meat or something. But anyway, he'd come over and visit with us before the people all got out of church, and then he'd go back over. And he did well over there with that grocery store. And Pete ran it for a long time afterwards.
Right.
And his wife was, of course, was one of the Armstrongs.
Right.
Daughter.
She was town historian for many years.
Yeah.
How about on the other side of the street, coming down the hill?
Well, of course, at the top of the hill, the top of the hill was there was a vacant garage there that belonged to the Wood Hotel, I guess.
Okay.
Down partway down the hill, you could
Okay.
see it down there. And
Is that the one that has the silo next to it?
no, that's the barn down almost
Oh,
at the foot of the
okay.
hill. Yeah, he had the barn with the silo up, and of course he used to plant potatoes and stuff in that field right side of the road, I guess.
It's a parking lot today, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
During events, I mean, it's grassy a lot, but
Yeah.
I've seen postcards of that.
Yeah. And let's see, then the Mary's Gift Shop would be the next one, and the gift parking lot side of it. And I don't know, now that they have a separate building on the end of that, and I know it had been added on to when he still owned it.
In the
And
30s, he opened liquors there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I can't remember, and that's why I
Right.
never went in.
Still there.
Yeah.
I was looking at the camera. Sorry,
Yeah.
folks. He opened that. He did that in the 30s, I believe.
Uh-huh.
You see that in some early photographs. And then the Collards acquired the skinny building next to the theater. And Joseph Collard had a pharmacy in Old Forge, but they weren't going to do a pharmacy in Inlet, but they sold drug aids or health aids
Oh.
supplies. And then when Daniel Decker's daughter didn't want to have the liquor store anymore, the Collards purchased her liquor inventory. That's when it became a wine shop.
Oh, I see, yeah.
That's in the mid-60s, late 60s, something like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, Hall Store had the big front glass windows and registers underneath the windows. So it was a nice warm place to sit in the wintertime. We'd stop in there and get warm, you know. And then, of course, the gas station was there.
Who were the people that had the gas station that you recall?
Well,
Before Chambers, I mean.
before Chambers, Al Kornblum had it, and when I got back from the service, I think Al was in there. And he expanded it and put in quite a few places to pull cars in on the lower end, and then he had a lift in the very end of it. He had a bigger room, and it was, in fact, I went in business there. I was in there with Al for a year or so before we bought the Inlet Garage up on the corner of South Shore Road. But on the street there was there were kids from the Syracuse University were apparently running some kind of a, I've forgotten what they called it now, but they sold some not hot dogs, but something like it. What am I trying to say? But I don't know, like a hamburger.
Nothing like a hot dog.
Hot dogs and hamburgers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a little wood stand or something?
Yeah, and they rented that from O'Hara's, I think. It belonged to O'Hara's on the front of their lot. And they had the front was all boarded up on hinges so that they could pull the front out, open the front up, and they had a counter across there. So they did a good business there. I guess that they stayed open till about midnight, or whenever the bars closed in Inlet, they would be open that late, so anybody coming from bar and wanted to get something to eat, they could stop there. And they were football players, usually from Syracuse University, who were running it somehow. And so they had a lot of friends stopping there, and that used to be busy. And then, of course, the next one was the Parquet Annex down in the corner there.
Yes.
That's now an ice cream store, I guess.
Yeah.
And the hotel annex was behind that, where that is now. And then, of course, the Parquet restaurant was almost up to the post office, where the post office is. And then, of course, after the post office, there was some vacant land, and then the inlet garage on the corner of the South Shore Road. And then on the other side of the South Shore Road used to be the restaurant.
Capitol.
Not Vangos. Vangos had the
Ice cream place.
ice cream store.
It was Walter Rose's, and then,
Walt Rosa was in there when I was a kid, yeah.
okay,
Walt Rosa was in there, and
then the Capitol.
he had just the one building on
Yeah,
with the bar in it. And then the next people that bought it, Capisers, I don't know whether they put that addition on. Did they?
don't know, I have to look at the pictures.
I'm not sure, but that was done. I think the Capisers added that addition on, and in the dining room, and put in the kitchen and used to serve meals in there. And they'd stay open. They had entertainment. Some fellow playing the guitar or the accordion used to serve as an entertainer in there, and he was quite popular. Yeah. And then, of course, next door to that was one of the buildings that was owned by Dewey Rudd, and originally he set up his daughter in there, Evelyn. Had I think like a breakfast place.
Coffee cup?
Coffee cup, yeah. And then somebody else came in and ran it, and he's the one that called it the coffee cup.
Okay, so it was coffee place first, and then the next person.
Yeah, I think so, unless she had gifts in there or something. But I know the fellow that, I can't think of his name, that bought the place, or either bought it or rented it, and put up the coffee cup sign and had a buck counter in there and tables and chairs, and we used to go up there and get coffee when I was in the garage business there. On a coffee break, we'd go up there and get it. And then the Red and White's grocery store was next door, that Dewey Rudd ran for years, and then Gordy took it over, and his sister afterwards, and Ines, when Gordy got married. In fact, I was best man for Gordy and Ines when they got married. And next door to them originally was the town doctor. I can't think of his name, it escapes me right now.
Phil Jones? Ash Jones? Can't think of it either.
I can't either, but that's going way back to when I was just a kid in high school, or in school there. But next, that Pinellas bought it later on, bought the garage and the house next door, I guess. And then, let's see, next door to them was a local family. Oh, I can't think of the names of them. But they didn't have any children, and there was just a man and his wife lived in there. And then up on top of the hill was Dr. Warwick's house. I remember it as Dr. Warwick. And then next to them, right across from the church, there were two more houses there. And the first one was, I can't think of the name. can't put
It's not far enough up to be Blakeman's, right?
No, it used to
That
be.
was farther up, wasn't it?
Yeah, Blakeman's were right up next to the school, right just past the school. And, Well, they were one of the local families, they had kids in school and everything there. I can't come up with their names. But then the next house to them used to be belonged for years, can't come up with a name for them. But Mose Leonard wound up buying that house and lived there. He moved from Racket Lake down after he retired from the state being a forest ranger.
Right.
And he bought that house and lived there, I think, until he passed away. He also had a place in Florida for a while, but anyway, he was probably the last owner while I lived in Inlet. And right across from the church, the Catholic Church.
Gotcha. Well, anything else you'd like to pull out of your memories, people you recall
I'm starting
as you were traveling
starting to run
through
out
time? Running out of stories, huh?
I'm running out of being able to come up with the names of the places.
Well, if you hadn't thought about them for a while, you know.
Yeah, I haven't. But they were prominent names in Inlet up through there. And then on the South Shore Road, of course, Evie Van Arnhem lived up there, and Bob West, and Tiffany's, yeah. And then from there up, like the Neodak Hotel, the Rogerses were all living in there, and then Holes Inn was next door to them, and the whole family. But they never had kids in school. They came in after the war, pretty much. No, they were there before World War II.
I think at least Helen and Victor might have gone to the Inlet School.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They had to be, they were driven there because being German during the war, there might have been concerns. All that.
Oh. Yeah, because they were, I know they were there. I think they bought the Alvador or the
mid-30s. In the mid-30s.
Yeah, yeah. And they expanded that Holes Inn. Hans and Oscar did.
Yeah.
They built a lot of new rooms and stuff there.
Were you, you were with the Legion, the ambulance squad, not the fire department, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ted. This has been an extended interview, and I appreciate you letting me pick your brain.
Wish I could have been more help to you, but
No, you've been a lot of help, and you filled in a lot of gaps in Inlet's history that sometimes photographs don't completely cover. Oh, one more thing. You were talking about the little restaurant next to the Inlet Supply. Do you remember the places that were there next? The one that was a Sawyer's restaurant?
oh, the
little...
where the little ice creams?
Well, the next door to Inlet Supply, there was a little cafe, and then there was Roland's.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember what was there after that?
Well, Roland's owned it as it was kind of a bar and restaurant, and but the only thing I remember going north from there is where Scott's had their gift shop.
Right.
Was where they had the range for the.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
But I don't remember. Of course,
maybe that came after your time there.
And Scotty built the gift shop. Why, that took a lot of that
right.
land up there.
Right. Okay.
And we were talking about some lady had a gift shop attached to the hardware store.
Margaret Graves.
Yeah, Graves. That name, the minute you said Graves, I remembered that place. And of course, Dad and Lansing, Tiffany sold their hardware store. Well, Lansing owned the building, and my dad just owned half the business that they had there. and they sold it to, you have to give me the name.
I think Whedon's from Boonville. Walter Whedon and his wife, I forget his wife's name, but they had a hardware store and other concerns in Boonville, and they're the ones who hired the Hodel family
Oh,
to operate as Inlet Hardware.
yeah,
So that's when that started.
yeah,
They kept the name Inlet Appliances almost to the end, almost a couple years ago.
yeah,
But
they did,
it was just a corporate name, but it was the Hodels who operated it then.
yeah, yeah, and so that's about all that I can remember. Very,
Ted, I want to thank you very much. I know the people of Inlet thank you. So
yeah,
thank you for inviting me here to see you and your lovely wife Vinnie.
Yeah.
So, oh, how did you meet Vinnie?
Benny and I were both driving school buses for the Town Web School, and she was, of course, from down here in Woodgate, and I was living up in up in Eagle Bay, and Bob Roach was running the bus department at the school, and we both worked for him. He was our boss and hired all the drivers and everything. So we worked there for, gee, I don't know how many years I was there, but you were there. She was working out of Woodgate here as a pickup driver to pick up
Side
kids
roads.
up the back roads and
Side
stuff,
roads.
because they were scattered all over the place, and they couldn't get in with a big bus and turn around safely. And so she was meeting the big buses that just came down, turned around and went back to Old Forge, and she would go into all the side roads and pick up the kids on the side roads. And I used to have a bus at my home in Eagle Bay and do the the Big Moose run. I went to Big Moose and picked up the kids off the Higbee Road and off the Martin's Road and all the way up to the let's see, Big Moose Station. And we had a family living up on, as you go into the lake out of Big Moose Station, you go turn to the right and go up through there, and there was a family living up there all winter. And the only family up there, I think. But they kept the road plowed so we could go right up and pick them up. And we lived in Old Forge for about close to 15 years, I think. And then we moved down here in 2001, or 2001, yeah.
Yeah.
We built this, we started building this in 1997 and moved in 2001.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.